We gonna walk it out and mountain. And I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up. I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up. So, hello everyone. We are so excited to be back with you all. Welcome back to Girl Talk Tuesday. I have to honestly say the break was nice, but we were hoping when we came back, technical difficulties and everything else that came along with it would be completely gone, but we weren't so lucky.
Not at all.
Let me introduce you quickly to my fantastic co-hostesses. Angela Tyson, how are you doing?
Hey, I am doing wonderful. I am glad to be back. I hope that you guys had a rested time away, but we got some good information for you tonight, so get ready.
Exactly. And Lynette, I know you are having major technical difficulties, but you were moving during the song. So welcome, Lynette King.
Yeah. I don't know if I was on beat, but I'm glad to be here tonight. This is going to have some candid conversation tonight about some mindsets, and I'm just really excited.
Well, I just want to kind of catch everybody up on what we've been doing since we've been away. One, we are looking at now broadcasting in the evenings because of the fact that we're just listening to our audience, our followers, and so on, and it just seems to be the preference. So, of course, we're going to be moving it around, like I said, because we have business partners that are going to be joining in and so on. So we will always post as time slots change. But for the next several weeks, we will definitely be posting in the evenings at 6 o'clock p.m. on Tuesdays. As you know, Girl Talk Tuesday is the entrepreneurial focus. We are all network marketing, home-based business, travel business owners, and clearly entrepreneurs.
Right.
But ultimately very focused on virtual businesses. And so with that, we are just trying to emphasize that this is the time to really dig your heels in and start focusing on a virtual business. And so part of what we've implemented within our travel businesses, pivoting because of what is occurring around the world now. We're doing our road trips. And so as I think I mentioned during the last segment, Hometown Getaways with Shell. I'm out road tripping on Thursdays. Angela has On the Road with Angela, also out on Thursdays. And Lynette, I love I love the name she came up with. Local with Lynette and Tiff. Did I get it right?
And Lynette, who's Tiff? Tell us who Tiff is.
That's my car. My little
Love
car.
it. Okay. So those of you who have not had a chance to meet Tiff, Lynette's car is Tiffany Blue, so therefore she's named the car Tiff. Okay. So we also have watch parties that gives us a chance to show you our plan, which is the with the travel business. And so we tend to host those on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from our Facebook pages. So if you ever get a chance, you can either join those watch parties, or you can always go back to our pages or just reach out to us. We can send you videos directly to you that shares the business plan. So tonight's topic is going to be mindset equals action. And I'm pretty sure we're going to end up doing a second segment on this because there's so much to cover on this topic. And it is really a core piece to guide you. Because with anything that we're doing, you've got to have the right mindset. And that's something that tends to take the average person a little time to really understand it and get it and realize that mindset is core. We're all in the state of transitioning now. The world is evolving around us, and significant numbers are seriously reevaluating or identifying plans that we need to take full advantage of at this time. So I think for the most part, what they're trying to share with that is the fact that, as things start to evolve in your life or around the world, that's when you basically have to pivot to determine how are you going to survive it. What's going to be your next plan? And you've got to have the right mindset that comes along with that. So when we're talking about the plan, I'm sure you remember from prior segments when we talked about doing our leaning in segment, most definitely doing any entrepreneurial segments and so on. as well as even with the top 10 reasons to become a travel agent. The plan has basically been, you get that good government job or corporate job, and you do that for 40 years, and you retire basically for 40% of your salary. Well, that plan's not working for anybody anymore. Jobs are not secure as they were before. And the fact that once you become an entrepreneur and you actually see that it's not as difficult as you thought it was going to be, and you move past that fear into your comfort zones or away from your comfort zones, then you start to see, wait a minute, there's another whole picture here. And I can guarantee you right now, the current generation, they figured that out. They are not going to work the same way that most of us have worked through our entire life. And so, they've already adapted to that mindset that there's got to be a better way. So whether you've been whether you're a brand new entrepreneur or just getting started, or
that's those millennials.
Exactly, millennials and the younger and the one. I think what's the current generation? I keep forgetting.
I know.
I think it's Generation Z now, because I've lost track.
Yeah.
But the current generation that's in their 18 and older group right now. And they are figuring it out that there's got to be a better way. When I listen to my sons who are millennials, and now my nephews who are even younger than them, and all these ideas they have, from my perspective, like, they're going to make it happen. They're just figuring out what it needs to be. And so, the whole point is that it all still evolves around that entire mindset. So as a standard, you start by examining where you are today and focus on what is needed to learn, to live to your potential, to accomplish your goals or dreams. All of us have that overall plan. For me, like I've said for years, my ultimate dream is to walk out on, when I get up, walk out on my balcony and all I see is water. So, I got the little virtual thing going behind me. But at the same point, it's my mindset. I'm bringing it to fruition. So I know, Angela, you had another part. You're something that kind of built on that same tip.
Right. So for me, it's about what we call a growth mindset. And pretty much what that does is it allows you to dream big. I love it when Michelle says dream big or go home, right? Because that's what it's all about, dreaming big and pushing boundaries that's going to take your ideas to the next level. Then there's the other side of that. The growth mindset is the fixed mindset. A fixed mindset has you believing that your basic skills, your basic talents, your abilities are fixed, which means they are what they are. They're not going to grow, and that's it. That's all you have. So you can either have a fixed mindset where you don't think that you can do anything more than what you're currently doing, or you can have a growth mindset where you're learning and growing and expanding for your business.
Right. And you've hit it around the head. I mean, I think that's the whole point. You've got to have that growth mindset. I think the thing is that too often we allow ourselves to stand in our own way. And I know that's another topic that we have coming up relatively soon as well. Lynette, I don't want to leave you out. I know you're having technical difficulties. Looks like you're frozen.
Well, no, because I'm sitting here and I'm contemplating whether I should speak or not. Because I do have some things to say about, the fixed mindset. And usually, it's in your subconscious, the mind, and through the repetition of impact from your present mindset, referred to as your paradigm. And when you repeatedly think about things, that makes your fixed mindset. And so every thought your conscious mind chooses to accept, your conscious mind must accept. Okay. And so it has your subconscious mind has no ability to reject what your conscious mind is saying. It absorbs whatever comes through, it absorbs it, and that's your emotional mind. So carry on, Miss Angela, and then I'll interject some more.
Okay. Okay. So one thing I definitely wanted to highlight, and we're actually going to go into the top 10 distinctions, but there have been a couple books that we've all been introduced to, which is why I know we're going to be doing more segments on mindset, because as we're getting through those books and we're learning more ourselves and we're staying focused on our mindsets, that, there's so much more that we want to be able to share with this, because again, virtual businesses, I can't say it enough. They're on the rise. People are jumping on the bandwagon. People are, you're looking at several months into the high and unemployment rates with over close to 40 million. And I just heard on the news within the last day or so, another 70,000 within a particular industry may be laid off within the next couple of months.
Yeah.
So, we've always talked about plan A and plan B. Well, people are now starting to get one, whether it's through frustration or it's through connecting with like-minded people who are helping to empower them to now get out here and make those moves to invest in themselves to be able to start their own virtual businesses. So one of the books, we've definitely mentioned this during prior segments, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. For me, that just really got the juices flowing as far as, in addition to other core values or other core pieces that knowledge that they shared in that book, mindset was definitely one of the core values on that. But another one that has been shared with me several times, I finally went ahead and got a copy of it, The Top 10 Distinctions Between Millionaires and the Middle Class by Keith Cameron Smith. So that's the one we're going to kind of review today. And, I think for the most part, I may have to start doing audiobooks.
Right.
Because I'm telling you, between all the road trips, and now we've got the wind down weekends where we're doing wineries and things that affect on the weekends. I feel like instead of me listening to my music, I could be listening to some of these books because it never fails. When we get out and we really start interacting with people, then the book has to go to the side because now you're interacting with clients, friends, and so on. But one of the first top 10 distinctions that I really want you all to, well, I'm actually throwing this out at y'all so you can share your thoughts on it. So the first top 10, millionaires think long term while the middle class thinks short term. So Angela, what are your thoughts about that?
So, it's always kind of taught to you that you should have short-term and long-term goals. But I tend to think that we as the middle class focus on the short-term goals. Like we don't, you might even say that you have long-term goals, but how much do you really focus on those long-term goals? You're so busy focusing on the immediate, what's going to happen in the next 3, 6, 9 months, maybe the next year, that you forget 5 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, there's a retirement coming down the road at some point in time. Do you really want to be working for somebody else for the next 10, 12 years? Or do you want to take control of this and focus on the long term of becoming your own entrepreneur, your own business owner, and not just one business, but multiple businesses so that you can have those multiple streams of income? So, it's definitely key to have the short term. The short term can get you to the long term, but don't stay stuck on the short term goals.
Right. And, and everyone's got to think about what's going to happen from day to day, but you've hit it around the head because one of the first things they tell you once you start your own business, it's always fantastic when that overnight success occurs or what may seem like overnight success. Because a lot of times when you talk with people who have had what is considered that overnight success, they'll tell you what their struggle was, how long it actually took them, that they had to remain committed. But that's the whole point. You've got to look at, okay, what's your 1 year goal? What's your 2 year goal? What's your 5 year goal? And work towards that. If you're trying to shoot from the hip from day to day or from month to month, chances are not much is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, the main focus is staying committed because it does take time to build up the activity to really, be able to make a significant difference in what you're trying to do with your business. And that's where it's saying, the millionaires think of long term versus the middle class thinking of short term. So Lynette, did you have anything else you wanted to add to that?
Well, yeah, because I wanted to know, when riches take the place of poverty or the middle class, the changes usually is brought on with plans. Poverty doesn't need a plan. But when you aspire for your riches, you've got a plan, you have your goals, and it's like the mindset of planning and making sure that you know what you're heading towards, because poverty doesn't need any goals. You just don't do, and then you don't. So
that's an awesome point right there. Poverty doesn't need any goals, any plans.
Right.
Because it can just happen, right? So I love that, Lynette. I love that.
Right.
Okay, so we can hear you loud and clear. It's you're moving slowly, but your voice is coming across. Okay, so the
Can you
next
hear me? Can you hear me now? Good.
We hear you now.
okay. So the next one was millionaires talk about ideas while the middle class talks about things and other people. So that was a powerful one. Angela, you want to take that one?
Sure. My thoughts on that is to shun the negative, feed the positive. Like there's gonna be naysayers up in your ear talking about you can't do that, you can't do this. Block them out, shun them out because that's not gonna be good for you. Your mindset will reflect whatever information you feed it. So if you're feeding it positive, your mindset is going to be of a positive mindset. If you're feeding it negative, I can't do this, I can't do that, then that's exactly what's going to be the result that you can't do it.
Right.
So it's key to fuel your mind with positive information on a daily basis. Most importantly, you must surround yourself with positive influences that can help you live your best life and become your best self. Your circle, your innermost circle has got to be about positivity. It's got to be that you're surrounding yourself with positive people. And you know, some of the naysayers are going to be your family. Now you can't cut them off, but you can sure keep them up out of your head because there's a party going on in your head and it's positive versus negative, right? And you just got to shut that negativity down and just focus on all the positive good stuff that's coming for you.
And you've hit it around the head. I mean,
And you also don't want to be this. As I was going to say, you also don't be the smartest one in your circle either. You know, if you're the smartest one in your circle, you're in the wrong circle.
How
You
about
know,
that?
time to move around. You know, yeah. You know, and everything has a beginning. Just like if you're learning how to drive, if you're learning how to type, you know, it's the same as for living successfully. It's like you have to learn. You work diligently with the basics until you have them mastered. And mastering the basics of building your life and your dream is the same as laying a strong foundation, like building a skyscraper. So,
right. And you know, and I think the thing is, you know, where they say millionaires talk about ideas. What if you were to run through a series of positive what ifs? You know, what if you succeed? What if this was an option? You know, we had a great example last night during our ladies' locker room with one of the groups that we belong to. And one thing that a lot of those successful entrepreneurs were sharing was that when the whole COVID matter went down, what they were looking at as far as, okay, now that this is happening, people are going into lockdown. What are people going to have to do? And so they started looking at restaurant options and, you know, the fact that people are going to do takeout. What they're doing takeout, you know, what type of, what's going to cause a type of boom in those particular industries. So, of course, they did the right thing. They went and invest in some of those particular industries, and they're seeing a great return on their money. So that's the whole point. You start thinking about different things that's happening, and you start going to that what if. What if this became an option? You know, people want to quickly comment on what if you fail, and well, we know what if you succeed, but you can't keep sitting on your hands and not doing anything about it. Mm-hmm. And so I think for the most part that any
right.
entrepreneur, any business owner out here will tell you they failed plenty of times before they finally succeeded because they learned from each one. They didn't give up. They stayed committed, and they were successful with it.
Absolutely, I agree. That is awesome, Michelle.
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you guys know there's a storm brewing.
You know, and your feelings.
I have lightning and thundering happening, so you might see me run off of my stool in a second. So I'm just going to let you know.
No problem.
It's on its way.
Yes.
What we said, what can't happen is going to happen, okay?
You know, but
go ahead, Lynette.
Good excuse for technical difficulties.
Okay, so the next one, next of the top 10 distinctions was millionaires embrace change while the middle class is threatened by change. Mixed in doubt, unbelief, grasping your destiny, and mixed in belief. So when I ran through all that because of your thunderstorm, but you've got to embrace change. I mean, come on. I mean, I could just throw out there two cartoons, the Flintstones and the Jetsons. You've got to embrace change. You've got to be able to, you know, if you think you're going to constantly stop change from happening, you're fooling yourself.
Right.
But you got to understand it. You got to embrace it, and you got to be able to jump out there and really be able to become part of that change. Pivot where you need to pivot to keep your business going forward and to keep your business afloat. So, Angela, I would love for you to jump in on that.
So for me, it's always, people are always so quick to jump and say what they can't do. I can't do that. I can't do this. When you're learning and new tasks and learning new skills, the first thing out of your mouth should not be what you can't do. It should be what you can do. Now, maybe you can state it in a way that I can't do that yet. That is a very different statement than I can't do it. Maybe I'm not able to do it yet, but I'm working on it. And so I think, we have to always make sure that we are of the mindset of embracing the change and knowing that it is just a stepping stone to the next level for you. And one of my I just love to say next level. Like I'm hitting some next levels. I'm getting ready, and that's all because I'm embracing the changes that are happening around me. And so don't hold yourself back because you're scared of the unknown, because there's a lot of unknowns out there. So change can be good. Change is about, transition. And, people like to call it transition or transformation Tuesday. That's what change is all about. It's always about transition and transformation and changing. There you go. I saw it coming.
Right. I was talking about, where's the mute? Where's the mute? Sorry.
And the thing about it is, it's okay. You might actually surprise yourself when you do these accomplishments and you set these goals and you accomplish these tasks, because your mindset is of I can't. But give it a try. Get that can't out of your vocabulary and learn the word can. Just take that T off and toss it out the window in that thunderstorm that's coming.
Okay. So Lynette, I know you got your finger up. What you got on that, Lynette?
Yeah. Walking through the church. Your mindset is very likely it's unconsciously formed from your past experiences, and your successes and your failures, your humiliations, your triumphs. And so the mindset or the opinion you have of yourself will determine how you interpret other people's reactions to you and significantly affect your success. But no person and no circumstance on earth can prevent you from creating a new mindset. The degree to which you improve the image of yourself will be in exact proportion to the amount of truth that you can honestly accept and positive change you put into engineering your new freedom.
Awesome.
And I would say I've always been a change agent. For me, I think if anything, it's always been a matter. I overanalyze things sometimes. I mean, sometimes it's right on point. Other times it's like, okay, let me look into a little bit further. Let me look a little bit further. And, I think the thing is you're always trying to be cautious about the moves that you're making. But the whole point is that you've got to embrace that change and just figure out what's going to be your most strategic next move. And again, if you fail, you learn from it and you keep going.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, so the next one.
Exactly.
Now, Angela's not flown off that chair, so I think we can keep going. So millionaires take calculated risks while the middle class is afraid to take risks. So Angela, I'm tossing the ball to your court.
So, failure is a stepping stone to success, right? So nothing beats a failure but a try. You have to sometimes take risks. That's what living life is all about. It's all about risk taking. Do you think, some of these millionaires out here didn't take risks to get to where they are, to start their businesses or to accumulate their wealth? There's lots of risks to be taken, but, get out of the safety zone and step out there and embrace the change and the risk are stepping stones to the success that you can have if you just, believe enough in yourself. And I think that has a lot to do with it. There's always self-doubt that kind of clouds your mind. So believe in yourself, believe that you're worth the risk, and step out there.
Lynette, I know you got some hot points on this.
Well, I was about to go through the vibrations and law of attraction, but that might be good for our topic for next week. So I'm going to put the floor back over to you.
Okay. And so look, I'm going to put it out there. As far as I'm concerned, if people could get out here and do bungee jumping, okay?
skydiving, right?
Hey, if you can get out here and do bungee jumping or any type of those daredevil type of sporting, whatever you want to call it, entertainment, whatever. If that's not risky, nothing there's nothing risky out here. So I think that's the whole point. Yeah, you got to take calculated risk. No one's saying get out here and do something totally insane. And you have heard, I think this was a movie, so I don't know what the whole background was, but the first person who bought the airspace for cell phones, they told him he was totally crazy. And of course, where is he now? And how many people have invested in all that? How far has it come? Right. Now, no one has a home phone anymore. Everybody has a cell phone or some version of it. Okay. So that's the whole point. Some things may sound a little off or out there, but look into it. I mean, you've got, again, a number of people, and Apple is one of them, where one guy was Apple. Yeah, it was Apple, where the one person who didn't stick with the plan, and they bought him out. Okay. Because he was too far out there. Now, mind you, yes, we're sure that there's plenty of ventures out there that did not yield the return that people were expecting, but there are plenty that did, and therefore they were taking calculated risks. So I'm taking calculated risks, okay? So the next one, millionaires continuously learn and grow, while the middle class thinks learning ended with school.
So wrong.
Okay,
just so wrong. You should always be curious. You should always be courageous. Sometimes you might just have to jump off the cliff, like Michelle was talking about. Sign that waiver form and just go for it. Jump off the cliff. Do something that is completely out of your comfort zone. Don't be laughing if I jump off the cliff. Sign that waiver form and jump.
You know what? Because that one point it was. Now it has a whole new meaning.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Do something completely out of your comfort zone.
Can I have a parachute?
You better.
Go take a flying leap.
Getting out of your comfort zone will teach you to learn to push yourself to new heights. And that's important, because otherwise you're going to stay in the same status that you've always been in unless you push yourself. New can equal unknown, which we talked about before, which can be scary to most of us, but it doesn't have to be that way. Sometimes new is rewarding and it's exciting. And so you just have to have the mindset that you don't have to have the mindset that it's scary. Expand your horizons and develop your growth and your mindset. It's all about just, learning and growing new things all the time. When we jumped up into this industry, Michelle, I was so overwhelmed initially with all of the cruise lines and the vacation packages. And, how do you get to this supplier and that supplier? One step at a time, one day at a time, but we never stopped learning. This was a perfect opportunity when this pandemic came along. And, it adversely affected a lot of people, but it gave us an opportunity to settle in and get some of those certifications that we need for our business. So when this business rebounds, and you can best believe it's going to rebound big, you hear what I'm saying? Listen up, it's going to rebound big. We're certified Hawaiian specialists, Aruba specialists, Carnival specialists, Norwegian specialists. We're certified in those. So when you come to us, trust us that we know our business. That's all about learning and growing.
Right. And you hit it around the head. And I think that's the whole point, is that another pivot, because, this year we were expecting to be able to really launch our group travel. And it's not saying that we can't, but it's just that we're taking calculated, we're planning in a calculated way, that, we pivoted to road trips instead, because clearly, with international bans and so on, with the started to open up and more, but how many people are really comfortable now? People are definitely traveling. We're taking soft steps, because we are focused on what's the best course of action for us and our clients, and if we want to build things up properly. So with the road trips, we're getting a lot of interest in those type of things. And so that's the whole point. You've got to be able to pivot. You've got to be able to focus on, okay, when this all went down, like you said, Angela, we immediately jumped into the whole focus of now we can get more certifications done, because of the fact that we were so busy with other parts of the business. And so now that's just totally setting us up for even more success. And where people are saying, well, why would I do this business now? Because no one's traveling. Again, that's not true. Plenty of people are traveling. And you have domestic options. So now you can get in here and again, you can learn as much as you possibly learn on your own schedule, get yourself totally prepared. A lot of these certifications only take probably less than 2 hours to get done, unless it's an extensive one. And even that, it's maybe several hours a day if you want to get it all done within a week. But you can stretch it out as long as you possibly want to. But like you said, if you're talking about this is one major investment that's about to come or that's going to come back 10 times over, and you're not jumping on this now to get involved, come on. Sometimes, like I said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
And I can also show you better than I can tell you. So keep paying attention.
There you go.
And and people are anxious to improve their circumstances, but they are unwilling to change themselves. So therefore they remain bound.
That's it.
And one question that came up last night, I thought it was the perfect answer. Again, this was during our ladies' locker room. I was saying they were wondering, they were concerned as to whether or not they would be able to afford the monthly maintenance fee, maintenance cost that comes along with this business. And it's like, first of all, if you did any business, you would never have a business that only cost you $60 a month to get all the marketing, all the training and stuff done for you. Okay. But then you're looking at, okay, that's roughly $2 a day. You can't give up a cup of coffee. I mean, come on.
That's less than a cup of coffee.
Right. And it's like, there are things that you can rearrange slightly to be able to afford that, especially if you're looking at that return on your investment is going to come back to you 1,000 times over and more. So
it's sacrifices. Sometimes you just got to make the sacrifice if it's something that you really believe in. So
right. And Lynette, did you have anything else you wanted to cover on that?
And you go into your leverage, and then from your leverage into your residual income. And there's who would not want that?
Exactly.
It's crazy. It makes sense to me.
Right. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Millionaires work for profits while the middle class work for wages. Now, this is where, and I'm never calling anybody poor, but I just love the way the acronym was thrown out there, where it says poor, passing over opportunities repeatedly.
That's it.
So, Angela, I'll throw the ball in your court again.
And I think what happens with the middle class is we get so focused on a salary, right? We're so focused on getting that salary. And, the more salary we have, the more bills we end up having. The wealthy mindset, the millionaire mindset are the profits from the businesses that you own that are your profits. So, the salaries are great. You gotta start somewhere, right? So you start with the salaries, and then you have to have the mindset to grow your salaries into profits. And that's what's going to give you the long-term, the residual incomes, the incomes that you can then leave to your grandchildren, your children, your legacy income. So, you got to think bigger than just collecting a paycheck. Got to think bigger than just, putting 15% or 10% or 5% into your 401k. You got to think bigger than that. You got to dream big. Dream big or go home.
And you got to think about multiple streams of income. Because you literally should be able to sleep at night and just have money flowing in. And you can do it. You can do it. I mean, come on. And I always laugh about my granddaddy, Warren Buffett. Oh, well, come on. Forbes is even saying over the next several years, 79 million home-based businesses are going to be born.
That's it.
So you got all of these huge people, icons, companies, business analysts, consulting companies who are telling you the direction that everything is going, but yet people still continue to sit on your hands. And I think one thing I love was when it was saying that the millionaires work for profits. They are focused on what needs to occur for that profit to occur. Now, this is all kind of tying into what we were saying earlier, that we're looking at the long-term plan, but we're also looking at where the profits are going to be. When everything's hit a couple of months ago, we could have sat back and just said, oh, well, we'll wait until everything starts to open back up. Or like some people started looking at, well, no one's traveling. Why would I continue doing this? Okay. Or you can look at it in the sense that, what's going to bring the best profit once everything starts to open back up, once the pause is gone. So that's what we did. We trained, we started training. We started pivoting and looking at other options with road trips and things to that effect. We are focusing on what group travel and when we're going to start offering group travel, whether it's going to be domestic or, international. By I think we're saying the latter part of the first quarter next in 2021. So the whole point is that you're focusing on where those profits need to occur. Yes, I mean, I will say constantly, enough of the 9 to 5. You are working and focusing on, okay, this is what I need to do to get that next promotion, but that promotion may not come through. And what's happening? People are now getting laid off or they're getting furloughed and so on. So it's like, okay, this is where you need to really start focusing on where the profits are.
Absolutely.
Lynette? Okay.
I'm scared to talk.
You've been good. You've been good. Go ahead.
Oh my God.
I'm scared to talk because I keep seeing it like my mouth is going this way and everything else, and then somebody's not. I'm gonna start writing signs with my answers.
Okay.
And put them.
Oh my gosh. Then I gotta lean into the screen to try to read it.
Right, just to read it. I gotta put my glasses on to read it.
Okay, so we'll move on to the next one if you didn't have anything for that topic. Millionaires believe they must be generous while the middle class believes they can't afford to give. Angela?
I am of the mindset that a closed hand never gets fed. So my mindset is to give, and to give until it hurts, because I know that when I give, I'm blessing somebody, and in that return, I'm going to be blessed. I've always believed that, being a blessing to someone is going to be what blesses you back. So, you can't receive anything with your hand closed. So when you're opening your hand and you're giving out, that means your hands are opening and you're going to be able to receive as well. Yeah. And so to me, it's a no-brainer. To give is a part of my core. It's a part of my Christian and my faith belief that, giving to those who don't have is a part of just who I am, my makeup. And, even if it's giving opportunities, it might not always be monetary or materialistic. Mm-hmm. It could be opportunities that I'm giving. And so, having this platform, we're sharing with you guys what we're hearing in the industry. We're giving you some wealth knowledge. And that's also a way of giving. We're giving you knowledge. So it's just kind of who I am at the core.
Yeah. And you hit on the head. That's exactly how I feel about it. For me, it's like, yeah, I'll do any type of donations I possibly can, because it's always about giving back to others. But like you said, it's not always monetary at times. It's how you can help someone out. When you're doing a favor for someone for a quick moment, you can give in a lot of different ways, and you can help in a lot of different ways. And you'll see, I know with my sons in school, it was about volunteering hours. And that's the whole point. You can go and volunteer anywhere to be able to help anyone else. There's a lot of different ways that can be done. And great, when you have the money, then yeah, for me, it's always about pay it forward. Someone else helped me, someone else gave me the knowledge. I had success coaches who are mentoring me and so on. And so for me, everything I'm learning, like we're doing right now, we are now giving back because of the fact that we're seeing that this is such a great opportunity. We could sit on it and hopefully no one else will figure out that you can do group travel and you can make plenty of money from it and so on, but that's not who we are. It's now make sure this information is out here and people are aware of it and they understand that mindset that comes along with it.
Yep.
Mm. And philanthropy, when my riches are released, because they're there, when they're released, I am going to be one of the biggest philanthropists you've ever seen, and with the charities. I'm just waiting. We're going to go get my Maserati tomorrow and get to be paid for.
Okay.
In the future.
Speak it into existence. Speak it as
yes,
though it is, right? Speak it as though it is.
But it's always, life is about giving back. Life is about paying it forward. Life is about being there for each other, being trustworthy, being faithful, helping each other. It's not difficult to do. It really isn't. Okay. So I'm kind of thinking, as I'm reading through this, I'm like, okay, so you're kind of in the middle of the road, because some of this, I got the millionaire mindset. other parts, I'm like, okay, now I need to move away from the middle class. So I'm just saying that just means I'm on my way. It's happening. So, okay. So the next one is one of my favorite ones. Millionaires have multiple sources of income while middle class has only one or two. And what I read from that, and again, we always talk about those multiple streams of income, but usually when you're talking about middle class only has one or two, there's usually either only one person's work, either they're single and they're working, or if they're married, that's where the two incomes is coming from. So that's the whole point with the multiple sources of income, now getting out here and working on those multiple streams. So Angela, please weigh in on that one.
I just think that, you know, there are so many things that are instilled in you as you're growing up that, you know, you don't think about the multiple streams of income. What you're taught is to go to school, graduate, get a good job, and that's life. You know, settle down, have a family, whatever. That's life. You know, we're not taught that there are other ways out there, that there are other opportunities out there, and you know, having a home-based business or several home-based businesses, virtual businesses, is the way to go. And I'm so glad that this opportunity was brought to me by Michelle, because, you know, even though, like we keep saying, that travel is on pause right now, but building the business is not on pause. There are people every day joining this business. We're going to shoot from 58,000 to 59,000 to 60,000 before the end of this year. There are enough months left in this year that we're going to be, you know, 60,000, maybe even more agents in this industry. And don't you want to be a part of that? Why not? I mean, what do you really have to lose, you know, investing in yourself and investing some time into your future?
Right. Especially when you have success coaches who are willing to be there to help you. I mean, our team is growing by leaps and bounds alone, and we're becoming such great friends. You know, we stay focused that we got to stay focused on the business, but you know, we're building a strong rapport and, you know, locking arms to figure out what our next steps and things are going to be and help each other along the way. And I think that's the whole point, is that, you know, those multiple streams. And once you get comfortable with knowing that you're capable of making it happen and it's not as difficult as you thought it was going to be, then you do open the doors to some other opportunities. So Lynette, I would love to get some input from you on this as well.
Well, you know, you think about the middle class and they're thinking, okay, well, I got multiple streams of income because I work 2 jobs, she works 2 jobs. Matter of fact, that's not the multiple streams of income we're talking about. We're talking about your investments. We're talking about, you know, your businesses. Really, when you have one business, you stretching out into another business. And then you have all of your investments, everything that is making money for you overnight. And it's like, so people say, oh, I got multiple streams. Yeah, because I work at McDonald's, and then I work at the hotel, and then I go to McDonald's at night, and he works at the factory, and we're working, and we have all these streams of income. That's not the streams of income that we're talking about, not in the millionaire mindset.
Right, and what you have actually are several paychecks.
Right,
so
right.
That's not multiple streams of income. That's several, you know, you've got multiple paychecks that it has nothing to do with streams
JOB.
Streams of income is sitting back, going to sleep, and waking up and finding a deposit in your account.
Right.
That's what multiple streams of income can get you. Not just, you know, the multiple paychecks because you're working multiple jobs.
Right.
That's working
not
hard,
to confuse it.
Right. And you hit it around the head. And that's so well, you hit it around the head, because like you said, that's where the confusion is as far as multiple streams, because if that job is gone, that paycheck is gone.
That's right.
And you know, we've heard it numerous times that the average person is only one paycheck away from being homeless. So when you have multiple streams, and we got another prime example again from our ladies' locker room, you know, a couple that were, both of them lost their jobs as COVID hit. And thank goodness, because of this business, they have been working this travel business for the last couple of years, that they weren't taking that final step to say, okay, this is what we're going to do full time. But when they realized that their jobs are no longer there, and they step back and look at what they had done with this business, they could both plunge themselves into this business full time and make a hefty income, multiple streams. So it's like, come on, you know, people, we can say this over and over and over to you, but you've got to decide, you got to develop that mindset that you've heard it enough times, you've seen the plan, or you need to see the plan, or we can get you the information and so on, and now it's time to take action.
Absolutely.
So the next one was almost crossing over with one we were just covering.
Absolutely.
Millionaires focus on increasing their net worth, while middle class focus on increasing its paychecks.
Yeah, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about before. We're always looking for that next promotion,
Yeah.
that next increase. That's a paycheck. And like you said, Michelle, the minute that, you know, the company decides to downsize or decides it's going to close its doors because the pandemic has, you know, injured it so majorly that it can't come back from it, then what do you have? You have no paycheck. No matter how big the paycheck was, you don't have that paycheck anymore. So you've got to focus more so on your net worth. You've got to get rid of the debts, and you have to make sure that your net worth is positive, on the positive side, and not that you're relying solely on the paychecks the entire time.
Right. Right. And that is so true. So very true. Lynette, did you have anything else you want to throw in there? Now, you had an acronym for job.
It just over broke.
Broke. So yes, that's what job means, just over broke. And look, we're not knocking the jobs. I mean, people have great jobs, they have great careers, but I'm just, for me, I just feel like the constant conversation evolves around people just don't want to live that way anymore. Yeah. They want to be able to have much more flexibility. Now, mind you, they're getting it now with the virtual working.
Right.
And I'm telling you all now, if you don't hear anything else we're saying, we are not going back to the normal 9 to 5 anymore.
Right.
You know, companies are starting to see they don't have to deal with the overhead of real estate. They're seeing that they're still profitable in various ways with the virtual businesses and so on. So they are navigating themselves around going virtually a majority of the time, if not 100% of the time. So one, if you're looking at, you could be your own.
I had a wonderful job.
I'm sorry?
No, I was saying I had a wonderful job as a marketing systems analyst, but I was still just over broke, trying to grab it all up and get the bills and the kids and make sure even I had 401ks, and it still didn't get me where I needed to be. You know,
right.
It just didn't.
And we can have paychecks and still be living paycheck to paycheck and still be just over broke. So
right. And they broke it down last night again during our ladies locker room, where, you know, an average person making 150,000 if you're making 6 figures, and how they broke it all down. Well, you're technically bringing only maybe 30,000 home, between the taxes and all of your typical expenses, and if you have children and so on. So they were just chipping away at that 150,000. And so the average person was really only technically maybe making 30-some thousand out of that 150,000. Even that was almost on the high end. I think when they really broke it down to a couple more expenses or typical life situations, it was dropping down to almost 19,000. So I'm like,
your medical coming out, your insurance coming out,
your mortgage,
there's so many different things.
Right. Mortgage, car note, transportation to and from work. You know, just utilities. You have to account for all of that. 150 sounds like a lot of money, and I'm sure for those people who, you know, will let go of their job, they would take it. But you want to have more than that. You've got to dream bigger than that.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the whole point. I mean, because even with having your own business, you know, 150,000, you're still gonna have the same expenses, but it's all things that when you're doing home base, you got all of these other advantages that come along with it. So things that you are typically having to pay anyway, you now have other tax advantages that come along with it. So you need to talk with your tax advisor about that, because we are not tax advisors, but you also need to keep that in mind too. So
and just one more quick
thing.
We're not saying, I mean, I really wish you guys would like grab a hold of this. We're not saying that you have to let that 9 to 5 go initially. You can work this part-time. And to some who are doing it part-time, they're making just as much part-time as they are in their full-time gig. They're just not ready to let that full-time gig go for whatever reason. I still have a full-time gig that I do, you know, 9 to 5. I'm not ready to let that go. But if I can make part-time for myself what I make full-time for somebody else, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer to me.
No-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
And you know, one thing that was shared recently, which kind of really made my eyes pop, and I'm just throwing some numbers out there. But I was, it was another success coach I was talking to, and they were all in finance, and they were referencing that if you're making 55,000, the company is making over $600,000 off of you, but they're only paying you 55,000. If you are making 150,000, the company is more than likely making $2+ million off of you, but only paying you 150,000.
Yeah.
So that's the whole point. Get out here and make your own 2 million and keep it. Okay.
I'll take it.
Exactly.
I'll take it.
So I mean, I don't know how we can break it down any clearer. Okay, so the last one, millionaires ask themselves empowering questions, while the middle class people ask themselves disempowering questions. So Angela, I'm gonna let you ride it on home on this. I know, Lynette, you probably have some input too.
Absolutely. So for me, it's all about asking myself what I would do differently the next time. Like, you know, so if I go out and I step out on this adventure and I'm not as successful as I'd like to be, why not? Like, what can I do differently the next time? I always like to look at, you know, people always look at it, well, I lost this, and I always look at it as learning a lesson. I don't look at it as losing anything. I look at it as learning a lesson. After you suffer a setback, you should always take some time to step back and to look over the situation and determine what you could have done differently. This is a simple question that will allow you the opportunity to become aware of your own thought process. This is going to help you with how you think, with your mindset. How could you have done this differently? You've got to think the process through differently and do differently. If you keep doing the same thing, getting the same results, but yet expecting something different, what is that? The definition of insanity. We're not insane people. So
Right.
we're talking about, you know, embracing mistakes and missteps, and then we're going to move on and we're learning from those so that we can be successful the next time.
Right. Exactly. Lynette, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I'm constantly thinking about how you can improve your life and how you can improve your income and your bottom line. And you want to be able to change your vibration so that your vibrations line up. So that, and here we go, because it's a spiritual thing as well. And when you let your vibrations line up with your thoughts, you're always thinking better. You're studying, you're reading, you're doing everything you can to better yourself. Most people that are, in the middle class, that they might be reading things like "Why Do Men Cry?" instead of how what is a millionaire mindset. So it's just different things, and reading and bettering yourself, and but the logic has to change.
And I might even have to say that for me, it took me a moment to even pull this book, because I mean, I guess for me, when I'm hearing millionaire, I'm not out here trying to do a get rich quick scheme. That's not even me. So when I'm hearing millionaires, like, it's not as though I don't feel I can attain it. It's kind of like, okay, I just had to get past that little stigma. Even though it's referencing the top 10 distinguished between millionaires and middle class, was basically saying, the people who are extremely successful at what they're doing. And this is where their mindset is, just like it showed in the Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. For me, I'm always looking at what can I do to empower myself, always interested in empowering others. I hear constantly I'm the Energizer Bunny.
You do keep going, that's for sure.
But it does. It makes my day when I hear people say, "Oh, I want to be like you when I grow up." Now, mind you, these people are the same age as me, or "I want your life," or something. My life is evolving the way it is because I finally decided to move away from my comfort zones. I finally decided that I deserve more. I finally decided that I was at a time in my life where I could take more risk. I could take more chances. I could adapt to more change. We were all basically thrown into virtual lives within the last couple of months. And, it's just been interesting to me as things have evolved with all of that, how some people definitely empowered themselves, but others went from heeing and hawing about traffic and stress to homeschooling and not being able to really focus on virtual lives, when they slowly then migrated into, okay, well now we have more family time. And let me make myself very clear. I'm not criticizing anyone, because when you're thrown into situations, it takes a moment to adjust to what you are now experiencing and how you're going to be successful with it. And so that's the whole point. It's always going to come back to your mindset. What do you need to do with your mindset to be able to adjust yourself to that next focus of what's happening within your life? And y'all know, I told y'all before we went on break, y'all going to hear this word constantly. It's my new favorite word, life quakes.
Life quake.
Life quakes are going to happen. It's going to happen for everyone. So you're going to have those hurdles. You're going to have those obstacles. You're going to have those life quakes. It's what you do with them. It's what you learn from them to be able to continue moving forward. And so I think the thing is that we're going through another life quake, and we're giving you information now as far as, another core part of becoming an entrepreneur, of changing your mindset, and just check some things out. No, you're not obligated to anything, just to look and see. Learn, get an understanding of what's involved in the plan. Get engaged so that you can determine for yourself whether this is a great option for you. And there's plenty of opportunities out there. We've explored several on our own now that we know that we've mastered this and that we're going to do well with it. Now that just kind of got the fuels going of like, what else can we do to now build even more multiple streams of income?
Exactly. That's
so
right.
We're focusing on working smarter, not harder, which is why you lock arms, because then you can just share information. So you're not having to build everything from scratch. The turnkey businesses, I don't care what anybody says. It makes no sense to me why you would go out here unless you want to, okay? Unless you want to. Why build a business from scratch when you have a turnkey business that you literally just buy it and now you're rolling with it, and now you learn everything you need to learn to be successful with it.
So true.
Yep.
So my last point is, no, go ahead.
Can I touch on that?
Yes, please.
Because there is no one in the entire world who is capable of creating your mindset for you. And if they try, and they will, don't listen. Don't permit it to happen. You will not commit yourself to someone else's dream. Commit to your own dream. And your mindset should be to create a life that you want, not what you need, because there is inspiration in the wants. And so when you find that there's something that you want, you become inspired to go get those things that you want. When you feel like you need, it's more like a grovel, trying to get it. I need it. Not, I want it. I'm going to aspire to get it,
Look at that. That's right. Good. Okay. That's good.
Right on point. Okay. So I want to close out and then we're going to do our quotes. Get an agreement with yourself. Add the right ingredients. Stir it up, knowing and believing that whatever you touch will prosper and succeed. When I finally realized that, I've been successful at a number of things throughout my life, throughout my career. Some things I had the life quake and I had to figure out what the next steps are going to be. But all in all, I knew that I finally figured out that I was going to be successful at anything I wanted to do, because I was going to dig my heels in. I was going to make things happen for myself. The added plus is that, with this particular opportunity, you got success coaches. So now you become a success coach. You lock arms with wonderful people, people at all different levels. Some people are tech savvy, some are not. Some have, been able to offer other great skills that others may be a little lighter on. So I think that's the whole point. You got to get in agreement with yourself. You got to understand you can be successful. You got to know that success is coming. And you have to understand that sometimes, like you said, when we think that people were successful overnight, or we saw a specific video that, that it seems like they were, this video happened to go viral, now all of a sudden they're successful. They'll tell you this is something they've been working at for years. So you gotta, we're not into the get rich quick scheme. Just wondering what's happening with my background. Another technical difficulty. We're not into the get rich quick schemes. We are more so focused on the fact that we have jumped on board with a very successful plan, and we're very interested in sharing that with everyone. So always I want to end it with the 3 P's: the power, passion, and perseverance. Okay, and that's what.
What is she?
Believe.
Believe.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with her. If she does not keep us on our toes, nothing does. Okay. I think her audio's gone out completely. Maybe. Okay. So power, passion, and perseverance. That's pretty much all that really comes into play with all of this. So let's wrap it up with quotes because I'm just seeing that we're having more and more technical difficulties. Angela, you want to go first with it?
Sure. The truth is, you have control of your thoughts, reactions, and responses. And once you understand how powerful that choice can be, you'll be able to change more aspects of your life than you can imagine. Sebastian Bailey.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, very
Lynette,
good. Yeah.
okay. You think you can chime in with a quote?
I'm gonna put it up on the screen. No. Um, there is only one corner of the universe you can be certain of improving, and that is your own self. That's Aldous Huxley.
Awesome.
Good.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, y'all know I have to because I'm always trying to drive it home. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And that was by Wayne Dyer. He's an American self-help author. And the other one, the great old Albert Einstein, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Okay? So mindset equals actions. So anyone who's been watching, or at any time you're watching, if you're connected with any of us, we're on, especially through Facebook or Instagram, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to share this business plan with you. You can be up and going in a matter of minutes, and we're here to help you out, here to help you be successful. Anything else you ladies want to throw in before we close out for today?
Join us.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Fun. So join us. Get on the bandwagon. Join the team with us. You can't miss this opportunity. I'm telling you, you're gonna look back and regret not getting involved with this.
And we've got the Power of 100 going. We're looking for another 100 business partners. I think we're down to like maybe 80 something now that we may be looking for. So people are definitely reaching out, but we are focused on the Power of 100. So reach out to any of us. We would love to be able to help you out. Thank you for joining us again. We are so happy to be back on in the studio, and we look forward to connecting with you all next week at 6:00 p.m. on Tuesday. Okay.
All right.
Take us home, Angela.